Grandad's Story by Sean McMullen. This is the story of Robert William McMullen, my grandfather, and how he came from Ireland to America. No doubt parts will seem familiar to some, as the circumstances surrounding his journey are not too unique. There are some twists and turns that make his story interesting, however. Robert McMullen was born in County Tyrone, Ireland in 1889. He was the second son born to Robert and Sarah McMullen of Derryoghill, pictured here, a township near the towns of Dungannon and Moy. Robert and Sarah were prosperous farmers who made lost fortunes according to family legend. Altogether they would have 4 sons and 2 daughters. The younger Robert grew up surrounded by family in fairly privileged circumstances as a member of what could only be described as the Protestant gentry. He was a good student, and when he was old enough, Robert was sent to Trinity College, Dublin, which was at the time a bastion in the Protestant middle class. Here he would study engineering, which in a roundabout way would determine his later life's work. No doubt pre-war Dublin was an exciting place, and in his brief time there he would have absorbed many influences. In one of his visits back home, young Robert would get involved in a dust-up with the law. Details are sketchy, but it involved a brawl with several other young men from the area. Sectarianism may have been a part of it, and as far as I know, Robert and a Catholic friend were charged. Fearful that his son may be facing a stiff jail term, Robert Sr. bought him a passage from Derry, pictured here, to New York. Family legend also has it that he paid the fare for young Robert's friend, too. So in 1909, young Robert was on his way to America. He already had family and friends there, so he did have places where he could go. Like many Irish immigrants, though, he had left his home under a dark cloud. Later on, he would rarely speak about it to his kids. No doubt many others would find the story familiar. But America was the place where you could go to reinvent yourself. Like many others, Robert was processed and formally welcomed to the USA in New York, where Lady Liberty was still relatively new. But New York was not his last stop. He made his way to Philadelphia, where family and friends had a place for him. And here his story would end, if this were the normal American story. But it's not. In 1912, Robert developed tuberculosis, and he probably would have died there in Philadelphia. But he needed a dry climate to recover, and he also needed some work. So like many other immigrants to America, he ended up going to Canada, or at least Western Canada, which was the middle of opening up. Robert found himself in the brand new province of Alberta in the town of Medicine Hat, which is along the South Saskatchewan River, pictured here. The Hat was booming as a transport hub as well as a nascent industrial area known for the pottery made in the Delta, pictured here. Despite many perceptions Americans have of Canada, Medicine Hat and southern Alberta in general are arid semi-desert, despite snow in winter. Robert's health improved dramatically when he arrived. The area had opened up thanks to the famous Canadian Pacific Railway, finished in 1885. Robert found work here, and here he would stay. He also bestowed something of a legacy, as many of his later sons, sons-in-law, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren worked for the CPR. Ironically enough, he would become a locomotive engineer. He would oversee the switch from steam to diesel before he retired, as well as be a cornerstone of the local branch of the Brotherhood of Railway Engineers. He would also father 7 children, one of whom was my father. Along the way, according to family legend, he would even write a mention in Ripley's Believe It or Not. That's another story.